The person who took his child, who is a taxi driver, we find out, shows up at the police station. Seagal recognizes her, and then the cops go, "Oh no, this is Anya. She's good. She's a taxi driver." They're basically police.
She's a taxi driver. All taxi drivers in this city work for the police. She's like one of us, a good guy.
What does that even mean? Hey guys, what's going on? Jeff Porter from Cinema Reactor today. Another Seagal movie that I did not know existed. I like to think that I'm pretty versed in Steven Seagal. I've seen a lot of his films. I did not know this one at all. And so this one was just recently added to Tubi. I saw it. I didn't recognize it, so immediately I clicked on it. And I don't know what I was expecting, but it's more of the same shit. Steven Seagal's Shadow Man. An intelligence operative discovers that no one is what they seem in the shadowy world of espionage. No, that's not what this movie is. This movie is a cluster of people trying to get a little itty bitty chip that someone hides in a stylus. I didn't leave anything out. That's it. So the whole movie revolves around this little chip that has data concerning the MK Ultra trials. We kind of dig into MK Ultra barely. They don't really explain anything about it, about the mind control tests and the acid, and it's just kind of they're testing it on mice, and then they put it into a chip, put an epoxy around it that you need a special mixture of chemicals to properly melt, and then get to the chip. This is going to be painful. So the beginning of the film, as we're introduced to Steven Seagal, kind of draws off of Above the Law. In the beginning, where he's practicing his Aikido with this, he's talking about Dim Mak, the death touch, and he explains that, this could be used for good and bad. You can use it to heal people, the death touch, you can use it to heal people. Or you can kill them from the inside, and he blows out the back of a watermelon. And then somebody is so impressed with their master, their sensei, Seagal. They're like, "You gotta teach me some of this stuff." And I'm pretty sure he just kills the dude.
Can you teach me? Can you give me a lesson?
It's a good thing Anderson Silva didn't get watermeloned, because allegedly, Seagal taught him that front kick, so.
Anderson, after the fight, said that he learned that front kick to the face from you.
Silva could have died. So the way that Seagal gets drawn into all of this is kind of like an Enemy of the State, where Jason Lee drops the thing into Will Smith's bag without him looking. That's essentially what happens here. So this guy is in possession of the information. He puts it into a stylus, of all places, because he knows that Steven Seagal never goes anywhere without his phone and his stylus. So he has to use his phone to put in an address for something, drops the stylus, switches them, and now Seagal's got this thing with him. So naturally, all the bad guys start coming out. Seagal has his daughter with him. She gets taken, and now it's just this game where he has to get his daughter back. The thing about this is just how stupid he thinks we are as an audience. There are so many points in this film where he's not trying at all. The film isn't trying at all. They just take us for complete idiots. I mean, there's multiple scenes like the car chase, or the Matrix room with the bricks, where nothing really makes sense as to why that would happen or why they shot it that way. But I think my favorite part comes like half an hour into the film, where normally we get, the body doubles, which it's a Steven Seagal movie. We kind of bypass. We're just kind of like, oh yeah, he didn't want to show up that day or move. And so we just kind of let it go. But there's a point in this film where they use a body double, but they show his face. It's not just like, a back of him walking, and it's a much slender, taller man. It's just a straight on full front shot where we get to see the body double's face and everything. It's points like this that make me question, like, what did you expect from the audience? Did you really think people were going to believe that was you? It's insulting, you fucking asshole. So while he is out on the run now, he has a bunch of people coming after him. His daughter's been kidnapped, and who he thought was his friend locks him away in like this safe house to, have everybody else come get him. And magically he turns into MacGyver. He starts constructing this fucking pipe shotgun. First of all, I don't even know where he got the shotgun shells because he shoots at like shotgun shells at people. So that's not even the biggest issue. The biggest issue is he makes a pipe shotgun out of the crap in this room, and it's just completely. He uses like there's a spring, some pipe, and I guess a firing pin of some sort. So maybe I'm the asshole, but it's so dumb. It doesn't matter. It's just dumb. So while he's out and about, he goes to a police station where there's two people working all the time. No other cops, just two people. And while he's sitting there, the person who took his child, who is a taxi driver, we find out, shows up at the police station. Seagal recognizes her. And then the cops go, oh no, this is Anya. She's good. She's a taxi driver. They're basically police.
She's a taxi driver. All taxi drivers in this city work for the police. She's like one of us, a good guy.
What does that even mean? What do you mean the taxi drivers are like police? Is this how bad the police force is, that you can only afford two cops and then you just gotta start outsourcing to taxi drivers? What is happening? But of course, she's an attractive woman and she just is enamored by Seagal, and she tries to seduce him, and he's a good man though. He kind of is like, you know what, let's just get out of this first. But by the end of the film, of course, they're totally doing it. What is really annoying is, as with all the other Seagal films, just the overcomplicated plot lines. Like, it can't just be this is... I mean, look at his earlier stuff, like Hard to Kill, right? Like, there's a bad guy, Senator Trent, and then he wants to kill the bad guy. Like, it's simple, it works, it flows. There's a little bit of, political espionage, but it doesn't go like too far. Like it's simple. Every film after like 2005 is just completely overcomplicated. Too many storylines, too many characters, too many people trying to fight for the same thing, and none of it makes sense. If this had just been good guy, bad guy, some like it just overcomplicates itself to a point where it's completely idiotic. We find out that the cops are actually working for the bad guys. We find out that the CIA is involved. Everybody's involved in this one way or another. It can't just be good and bad. There's a point in this film where the woman asks him,
You sure you know what you're doing?
and Seagal's answer just hits so hard in reality.
No, not at all, but that's never stopped me in the past.
He has no idea what he's doing, but that's never stopped him before. Kind of like him with filmmaking. He has no idea what he's doing. He has multiple production companies, and they cannot make a decent film to save their lives. It is painful. But as with every Seagal film, there's so many moments that just bring a smile to my face. I can't help but laugh my ass off. There's a moment where he goes in and he's fighting some bad guys in a strip club because it's a Seagal film, and one of the guys is wearing like this big face mask, and he's like, what's going on with that guy? And he's like, base jumping accident. He scares the girls, and throughout the fight the mask comes off and you can see his face, and sure enough, Seagal just says,
Man, that's not a freebase accident. That's syphilis.
I mean, come on. How can you not love that A+ writing that made the film? This was written by multiple people. Seagal was one of them. That, I feel, was a Seagal line. He's like, I gotta have my 80s one-liner. Here it is. While we're here, remember to like, subscribe for more videos. Otherwise, Steven's gonna give you
Syphilis.
behind the entire plot, though, is like this one main bad guy. I don't even know his name. He's the guy with the ponytail. And when he finally confronts Steven Seagal at the end, there's this great standoff between them, and Seagal starts unloading his gun. And he's like, nah, yeah, we're going to make a switch. We're good, right? He walks up to this man and punches him before gouging out his eyes. The man falls to the floor and starts flailing about like a fish. This is more of that unsung comedy. And then we find out that the man who slipped in the stylus, who was blown up in a car, faked his death, which means those other people had to have been involved. Comes back at the end and says that he didn't trust the people that were involved to make the switch, and so he gave it to him. I don't know. But we get a cool flashback to the start of the film where Steven Seagal kills a man by punching him in the tummy, and then he punches this dude in the tummy. Throws him backwards 100 feet into a wall, and he, I guess, bleeds out because Dimmock. It's funny because we always kind of tease Seagal about Aikido, because Aikido is kind of, it's an older style. It's meant for like disarming swords and stuff. And then he just like completely like just buys into this bullshido stuff, and it's I don't know, it's just insulting to us and him. But of course we get a happy ending. Seagal gets his daughter back, buys her a pony because he's fucking Seagal, and it looks like he hooks up with the lady anyways, the taxi driver who's actually a cop. What the fuck is going on in this movie? As far as Seagal films, this is absolutely garbage. This is, there's not even entertaining fights, because he blinds a man and then he uses the dim mock on another guy. Like, I guess maybe the safe house where he makes a fucking pipe shotgun is kind of entertaining, because you can kind of like, oh, okay, we're gonna MacGyver this, it's gonna be fun and silly if you kind of buy into it. But there's just nothing redeeming about this. All right, that's gonna do it. I will be back Tuesday, and I will see you guys then. Have a good weekend.